You know, artificial intelligence is just exploding into our classrooms, and it's offering these incredible new tools for learning and creativity that we've never seen before. I mean, it really promises a future where every kid could have a personal tutor right in their pocket. But with all that amazing potential, there's a really big question we need to ask. So, with any powerful new technology, we've got to ask the tough questions, right? These amazing tools, they run on data. And a lot of the time, that's our kids' data. So the big question is, what's the real price of admission for this AI-powered education? And is it a price we're actually willing to pay? To figure that out, we first have to understand where all that student information actually goes when it's typed into a chat box. See, it's not just a private conversation. There's this kind of hidden life to all that data that we really need to uncover.
What's so fascinating is how the very idea of sensitive data is changing. We're all used to PII, that's personally identifiable information, being things like names, addresses, student IDs, the basics. But in the world of AI, PII now includes a student's unique writing style, the sound of their voice, and even their behavioral patterns. All of these things have become digital fingerprints that can lead right back to an individual.
Okay, and this visual perfectly shows what happens to that data. It's something called the training loop. So a student types in an essay or maybe just a personal thought. If it's a public AI tool, that input gets fed into model training. Basically, the AI absorbs it to get smarter. And the last step, that information can become forever data, a permanent piece of the AI's global brain. Let's just let that sink in for a second. Once a student's unique essay or a private thought is swallowed up by a public model, it could be there forever. And it could be accessible in ways we can't even imagine yet. This isn't like deleting a file from your computer. It's a lot more like getting something published in a book for the whole world to see. So yeah, that's the problem. But the good news, and there is good news, is that there are clear, practical things we can do to manage this risk. So let's pivot and look at the teacher's playbook for protecting students right there in the classroom. The absolute safest way to go is what's called the closed garden approach. This just means using AI tools that your school district has officially given the green light to. And why is that so important? Well, because these districts usually have enterprise agreements with big companies like Google or Microsoft, and those contracts legally guarantee that your students' data is kept private, it's never used to train their public models. It's like building a protective wall around student information. Now, let's say you have to use a public tool, maybe for lesson planning. The golden rule is simple. Anonymize everything first. Before you paste in any text, you've got to strip out all the names, school details, anything identifiable. So instead of John Smith's essay, you just say Student A. And here's a great pro tip. Ask the AI for feedback on your grading rubric, not the student's actual writing. That way you get all the help without any of the privacy risk.
And of course, you got legal duties. You have to remember COPPA. You need parental consent for any student under 13 to create an online account. And then there's FERPA, which says you can't share educational records, like grades, with some third-party AI company unless there's a protective contract in place. These aren't just suggestions, they're the law.
Okay, so teachers have their playbook. Let's switch gears now and focus on what parents can do to help keep their kids safe while they're using these tools at home. Here is a super simple 5-minute thing every parent can do tonight. Go into the settings of whatever AI tool your kid is using, look for a section called Data Controls, or maybe an option that says Help Improve the Model. Find that and turn it off. This is often the little switch that tells the company, hey, don't use my kids' chats to train your public AI. So how do we get our kids to understand this? Well, you can use the grandma rule. It's super simple and really effective. Just teach them that talking to an AI is basically a public act. If you wouldn't be okay with your chat being blasted on a giant billboard for everyone, including your grandma, to read, then you probably shouldn't be typing it into the AI. And finally, be an advocate. You have every right to know what's going on at school. A really powerful, direct question to ask your school's administration is right here on the screen. What AI tools is the school using, and exactly what student data is being shared with those companies? Their answer is going to tell you a whole lot about how seriously they take privacy. All right, we've covered a lot of ground here for both teachers and parents. So let's bring it all together into one final checklist. These are the golden rules for navigating AI safely. So let's quickly run through the big ones. On the do side, always treat AI chats as if they're public, and stick to those school-approved tools whenever you can. Now for the don'ts, never, ever enter sensitive personal info, and please don't assume that incognito mode is some magic privacy shield that protects you from the AI company. It's not. And that brings us to our final thought. This is a great conversation starter for the dinner table tonight. Ask your kids this question. If an AI knows everything you've ever typed into it, what kind of picture would it paint of you? Thinking about our digital footprint, well, it's not just about privacy anymore. It's about defining who we are in this crazy new digital world.